block heater, set your multimeter to ohms, resistance, whatever you want to call it. Always test to make sure that your leads are working properly. Obviously they are here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to test these two pins that are inside. And I have no reading whatsoever from these pins. So that means that open loop inside here, which means that this block heater is no good. Now, follow me over here. To do this in the truck without actually removing it, you would take this, put this on one side, and put this on the other. Now this is not hooked up to anything, but as you can see, it still says open loop, which is what I would expect. But that's how you can also identify if the problem is the cord or if it's actually the block heater. In this case, it's not hooked up and the block heater is bad. So of course the cord is going to test open loop, and that over there is. Pause the video for a second, I'll show you another truck. Alright, so I just came out here and I have another truck that is actually in the process of getting worked on, and I'm going to tie into the big side of this plug here, the top side, and then the other top side. I'm going to hold this to see what the resistance is. We have 280 ohms of resistance. This particular truck either has a wire issue or the actual heating element is bad. The way you would identify if it's the plug or if it's the heating element is you would unplug it at the heating element itself and run the exact same test. If your numbers come back as 280 ohms of resistance, then you know that the heating element is bad. If your resistance comes back as like 14, 15, 16 ohms of resistance, then you know your cord is bad. The other thing that you could do is you could unplug it back at the heating element and you could test for continuity and then blow a load through these each one of these wires. It's not really necessary though. If you just follow what I just said, that'll actually help you identify, or that will identify what's the problem. Is it the actual cable itself or is it the heating element? I'm gonna go find another truck that I can finish up this video on. All right, and here we have another block heater. And we do have better resistance than we did on the last one, but this is still a little bit high at this moment. You gotta make sure it goes down to like 14 or 15. Typically, if you were to use this right here would work. It would heat the coolant, but I imagine that there is going to be an issue maybe with the wiring. Matter of fact, look right here, take a look. So we've got some, wiring that's starting to show through. Maybe there's something going on with the wiring. I would imagine that if I were to go to the actual block heater plug, or the block heater itself, the actual heating element, that maybe the resistance will be good and we would find that this harness is actually what's bad. But let me move on down to the next truck and see if I can find one that's got a block heater that's working. All right, and we are pretty close to having a perfect reading now. Typically like 14, 15, 16 is fine too. But resistance is what you want to see. And took me 3 trucks to get one that actually had a working block heater and cord in order to show you guys on this video, but there we go. Let me take this undone. You're testing the 2 big prongs, not the bottom, on this block heater plug, and that correlates with the 2 pins that are in the block heater itself. And you are looking for a 14, 15, 16 is fine too. But you don't want to see 200, 2,000, 200,000, anything like that at all. Anytime you have high resistance or even open loop, you don't want that. That'll be all for today.